Okay, here is another video on the mesoionic heterocyclic molecules in which I want to talk about the synthesis as well as the chemical properties, I mean the chemical reactions of the second type A mesoionic molecule, which you can see on your screen is what it is, this 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate molecule, right? And I will be talking about the reactions of these oxazolium 5-olates with the alkene molecules only. We will be discussing the other chemical reactions such as with alkynes and the carbonyl compounds and some more reactions in next video lectures, but not in this. Okay, as far as this specific lecture is concerned, I will only and only be talking about the reactions of these mesoionics with alkene molecules. Okay, and now you are already aware that we have these two types of mesoionic heterocyclic molecules, the type A as well as the type B. In type A, we have these 8 mesoionic heterocyclic molecules, and we have already discussed and talked about the synthesis as well as the chemical reactions of this very first type A mesoionic in the last lecture. Okay, and as far as this specific lecture is concerned, we will be concentrating on this second mesoionic molecule here, and we can name it in this way. Starting from this side means the oxygen atom, like this. There are two ways by which or through which we can start numbering. The first way is in this direction here, and the second is of course in this direction. Okay, now we have to choose that direction in which, starting from the oxygen atom, the nitrogen gets the lowest number. Okay, so obviously it is from this side here, because in doing so the nitrogen here will be having a number 3, this will be 4, and this will be 5 here. Okay, so now I can write down the name of this second mesoionic. It will be what? On position 1 we are having what? We are having ox. On position 3 we are having azolium, means the nitrogen atom. So I can write here oxazolium, and on 5 I am having what? My olate moiety. I am having my olate moiety. So the name is what? It is this 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate molecule. Okay, so once again we will be doing the synthesis part. Let me write here the synthesis part for this molecule, as well as the second thing which will be there in this video lecture. It will be what? It will be the chemical reactions. It will be the chemical reactions only and only with the alkene molecules as the second substrate. Okay, with the alkene molecule as the second substrate, right? And we do have 3 type B mesoionics, which we will also be discussing, but in our further lectures. Okay, so right now you can see here it is that same 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate molecule. And the first thing which we can discuss here is, or from where we can start, is the structural representation. Okay, and now last time I have already told you that what is the significance of this structural representation. We know at this point here that the mesoionics type A, I mean they undergo 1,3 dipolar type of cycloaddition reactions. Okay, and now whenever we will be trying to write down such a reaction with mechanism, it becomes easy for us to use some special and equivalent type of structural representations instead of this structure here. Okay, so what I mean is, if we are starting from this structure, it won't be easy for us to write down the whole reaction with the mechanism. Okay, what we can do is we can always transform, or let us say we can convert this structure into something useful and equivalent structure like this, and then we can go for the reaction, or we can go for, or we can go to write that reaction. It will be very easy for us, right? So even I have told you last time that how we can draw an equivalent structure like this, starting from this type of mesoionic heterocyclic molecule. What we need to do is we just have to do, mean if this is the oxygen atom here and the structure is like this, having nitrogen on this side, what we need to do is we have to go like adding two double bonds in this fashion. I mean a double bond here, then a single bond, oxygen, single bond, double bond. Okay, we have to do it like this always. Okay, so in this case what will happen, this is the oxygen here, the two double bonds will be like this, the first one here and then the second one here like this. Okay, and on this side of course I am having my R1 as the substituent, and here is the R2, on this side the R3 here, then the single bond oxygen negative like this. Okay, and now because the nitrogen here is forming four bonds, so do not forget to put a positive charge here on the nitrogen atom. Okay, so you can see here this type of structural representation is whatever we are having in this position as an equivalent structure. Okay, so just do remember, you need to do it like this. Okay, whenever you want to convert this type of structure into this type, you have to go like this. You simply have to put two double bonds in that five membered heterocyclic molecule, and always like this. Okay, so completing the charges of course like this, and then you will be at this equivalent structure. And what is the relevance of this equivalent structure? That the writing down the to write down the reaction, it becomes easy for us. Okay, so after that, what is this third structure here? It is nothing, it is the resonance, it is the resonating structure for this molecule. Okay, you can see here the negative charge is in this structure here, the negative charge is shifting like this, sending these electrons onto this carbon atom here, such that I can always go for a second resonance structure like what, like this here, oxygen single bond, this will now become a single bond here, and the R3 substituent, here is my R2 with a double bond here and a positive charge. What I am having here is my R1, and this will now become what, a double bond oxygen of course. Okay, and now this will be having what, because these pi electrons are shifting to this carbon atom, so this will become what, it will become a negative charge on this position here on this carbon atom, right? And after that I can go for another resonating structure, and that will be like what, that this nitrogen can attract the pi electrons towards itself, resulting in the formation of what, a structure something like this, in which a negative charge is present here. Here is the R2 group, on this side the R3 as usual, double bond oxygen, and now because these two pi electrons from here, they are shifting towards the nitrogen, and it will be dispersing the positive charge on the nitrogen, and so on this carbon atom where the R1 is present, now it will be having what, a positive charge. And you can see here this is this resonating structure here, right? So the structural representation is just to draw an equivalent structure for our mesoionic molecule, that is this, because writing down the reaction and the mechanism starting from this structure is not an easy task. It is not an easy task. Okay, so what we can do is we can employ some technique here. And what is that technique? Actually, we can always convert this into some equivalent structure like this or this, and then we can use these structures if we are interested to write down some reaction, if we are interested to write down some mechanism of any reaction involving the mesoionic heterocyclic molecules, right? So after that, let's talk about the synthesis part. You can see we are having our 1, let me write here, 1 comma 3 oxazolium 5 olate. This is our required product molecule, and you can see here it can be synthesized from this type of reactant. This is the reactant here. And what are these things on the reagent? These are what? These are the, on the reaction arrow, these are the reagent. So let me write here the reagent. Okay, so for the synthesis of the required product molecule, this is the mesoionic. The starting material is what? It is this reactant material, and the reagent is what? It is this acetic anhydride. Okay, and what is going out of the system? It is this water molecule, resulting in the formation of this type of product. Okay, and now before going into the details of this reaction, I want to talk about something known as the retrosynthetic analysis. Okay, so let me write here the word, the retrosynthetic analysis. Okay, now retrosynthetic analysis is actually there in your last semester, I mean the 4th semester of your MSc curriculum. But I think a little discussion here about the retrosynthetic analysis will help you a lot in remembering the reactant molecules for the synthesis of such kind of mesoionic product molecules. Okay, so now what is meant by a retrosynthetic analysis? Just imagine you want to synthesize some product molecule which is, let us say it is X single bond Y single bond Z here, and then it is having, let us say, A, B and C like this. Okay, now if we are interested in the synthesis of such kind of molecule, and let us say we do not have any reported method for the formation of this thing. Okay, now there are 2 ways by which we can synthesize this. The first way is what? It is just a random way. It is just a random process in which we will start from something random and we will try to synthesize this product molecule. Okay, and that is totally illogical, and it is not having any logic for the formation of this type of product molecule. Okay, but there is do present a second way that is quite logical. What we can do is we can go back from here, from the product molecule which we want to synthesize, in the reverse direction, imagining things that by breaking some bonds, I mean imaginary breaking some bond, we can go back in this, we can go back just to arrive at some substituents here, some reactants here. Let us say if we imagine that this bond is being broken, it will be what? It will be 2 reactant molecule, that is XYZ here, plus the A, B and C here. Okay, so retrosynthetic analysis means what? That if we are interested in the synthesis of some product, what we can do is, instead of just taking something random type of reactant and just guessing the reactant molecules and carrying out some reaction, that is not at all logical. What we can do is, there is present a second approach, which is what? We can go for the imaginary type of reactant molecules like this as well as this. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to break the bonds like this, so that we can see that yes, such a molecule, I mean here, it can be synthesized by the reaction of this type of reactant molecule, the first one, as well as the second type of reactant molecule. Okay, and you can observe here that this type of approach is totally logical in nature. Okay, so just going back in the reverse direction to arrive at some reactant molecules, by the combination of which, by the reaction of which, we can arrive at our required product molecule just by thinking in an imaginary way. This is known as the retrosynthetic analysis. Okay, now although it is there in your MSc fourth semester, but we can definitely use here. Okay, in the synthesis of such kind of mesoionic molecules, so it will be quite helpful in remembering you people what kind of reactants or from what kind of reactant molecules you can start this synthesis so as to arrive at such kind of mesoionic molecules. Okay, so applying this thing mean the retrosynthetic analysis here just to remember what kind of reactant molecule was there. It will be quite easy for you people to remember this reaction, I mean. Okay, so what you can do here is, if we want to synthesize this thing, we can go back in the reverse direction, imaginary thinking that it can be synthesized from the from a fragment which can be cleaved from here, such that we will be having, let me write here, from the breaking of this carbon and the oxygen bond, this will be what? This will be now R1 single bond nitrogen here having R2 substituent, a single bond here R3, once again a single bond. This is what? This is now a carbon atom, a single bond oxygen negative here, and it is what? It is single bond oxygen. Okay, now out of oxygen and the carbon, because the oxygen atom is more electronegative, so we need to show a negative sign here and a positive sign here, like this. Okay, now the important thing here to understand is that this is just an imaginary type of molecule. Okay, this is just an imaginary type of molecule, so we need to write down here an equivalent structure or some reactant here that do exist in the real world. I mean some reactant that do exist in the real world and that can give rise to this type of imaginary fragment, so that it upon reaction can give our final product molecule, which is what? Which is 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate. Okay, and now the only thing you have to do is you have to see from what type of reactant we can get this type of imaginary fragment. Okay, and this is all what is meant by the retrosynthetic analysis. So I can simply write here that okay, I can have this imaginary type of fragment from some real reactant, and that can be what? It is just a possibility. It can be like R2 single bond N here, then this is my R3 single bond carbon single bond R1 here, and this is what? This is oxygen negative. Okay, so now this type of oxygen negative, it can be generated from a carbonyl group, means a carbon double bond oxygen, and this type of carbon positive having oxygen negative, this means what? That it is nothing, it is also a carbonyl type of group, but in order to complete the valency here, means we need one more bond. Okay, so what we can do is we can take some reactive functional group here, so that the reaction of this as a functional group as well as this one here, means the carboxyl, as a functional group, they can both react with each other, resulting in the formation of a ring structure. And this is what is required here. You can see it is the formation of this ring here in this way. Okay, so using the retrosynthetic analysis, what we have achieved is that we can easily remember this reactant molecule. You just need to think about the cleavage of some carbon hetero bond, because they are easy to prepare, As compared to a carbon-carbon bond, the carbon heteroatom bond is quite easy to prepare because it can be prepared by the reaction of two different functional groups, okay, like it is happening in this case, okay. So this is the reason why I am not cleaving here a carbon-carbon bond. Instead, I am cleaving here a carbon and oxygen bond, right? So going back in the reverse direction, what I have got is this type of imaginary fragment. The next thing is what? To find out some real reactant molecule from where we can have this imaginary fragment such that the reaction is now going in this direction. I mean in this direction, resulting in the formation of what? The required product molecule, which is what? Which is 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate, okay. And this is all about what? The reaction of this as a functional group with this as again a functional group, and some type of cyclization here, and the reagent is what? It is some dehydrating agent, that is acetic anhydride, and this is the reason why a molecule of water is going out of the system, combining the two fragments, resulting in the formation of a ring type of structure, okay. So this is it regarding the synthesis of this type of mesoionic molecule. Okay, now next is the chemical properties of these mesoionics, and by chemical properties we mean the chemical reactions, okay. And in this video I will be talking only about the alkene molecule as the second reactants, and you can see here this is the this is our mesoionic molecule 1,3-oxazolium. Let me write here, it is what? It is my 1,3 oxazolium 5-olate, okay. And these are the different chemical reactions with different alkene molecules. The first one here is what? It is the styrene molecule. We can say it is some sort of unsymmetrical alkene molecule, okay. So the first reaction is with some unsymmetrical alkene molecule, and the result is what? It is a 2-pyrrolene molecule. The second reaction is what? It is with some unsymmetrical alkene molecule. Once again, let me write here unsymmetrical alkene molecule, but this time it is having what? It is having a good leaving group, okay. And it won't be difficult for you people to locate the good leaving group here. It is what? It is this chlorine atom here, okay. So this is again some kind of unsymmetrical alkene, but now it is having a good leaving group, and the result is what? It is generating this time not a pyrrolene molecule but a molecule of pyrrole. Let me write here pyrrole molecule, okay. The last reaction is what? It is a symmetrical type of alkene. Let me write here a symmetrical type of alkene, and E is what? It is some electron withdrawing group here. So let me write here, it is containing electron withdrawing groups, and you can see here the result is what? It is once again the pyrrolene molecule like this, but because it was what? It was one position, and this is the second position here, so it is a 2-pyrrolene. Likewise, this is what? At one position a double bond is present, so it is what? It is a 1-pyrrolene molecule, okay. So these are the three different chemical reactions of the oxazolium 5-olate with unsymmetrical alkene having a good leaving group, and the last is what? It is with some symmetrical type of alkene having electron withdrawing groups, okay. And moreover, you can see the results here in the first reaction where we are getting a 2-pyrrolene molecule, in the second one we are getting a pyrrole like this, and in the last one here we are having the 1-pyrrolene molecule, right? And now I want to discuss here the mechanism of all these reactions. So we will be dealing with all these reactions one by one. But before that, let me tell you here that it will be easy for us to understand all these reactions if we are able to transform or to convert such kind of structures of the mesoionic molecule into something into some equivalent type of structure with which we can easily understand all these reactions. Okay, and it is quite easy to write down that equivalent structure. What we need to do is, once again, we just have to put two double bonds, and that has to be like this, means a double bond here, a double bond here, right? And then this is having what? It is having the R2 group, the R1 here, the R3 like this is having what? Oxygen negative. And definitely this nitrogen here will be having a positive charge, something like this, right? And moreover, from this equivalent type of structure, as far as all these molecules are concerned, actually these are same here. Okay, we can always write down the second structure in the form of resonating structure, and that will be like this. Okay, that will be like this, I mean resonating arrow here, then the same R1 single bond, oxygen double bond, nitrogen here having a positive charge. It is having what? It is having R2 group. Then this carbon atom here is having this R3, and then this will become a double bond, oxygen here having, and this carbon atom here will be having a negative charge like this. Okay, and this is representing what? It is representing my 1,3 dipole here. Okay, so the basic fact here is what? That these mesoionic molecules, they can be represented in this form here, and with all these alkene molecules, whether unsymmetrical, whether having a good leaving group or some electron withdrawing group, the reaction will be what? It will be some 1,3 dipolar type of cycloaddition reaction. Okay, and we will see very shortly how we can prepare the 2-pyrrolene pyrrole as well as 1-pyrrolene type of molecule. Okay, now coming to the very first reaction, it is with this styrene molecule, and on this side we are having what? The 2-pyrrolene molecule. Before going to the actual mechanism, I want to remind you the general mechanism for a 1,3 dipolar type of cycloaddition reaction. What was there? Means if we are having some A double bond, B single bond, C having a negative charge here, and let us say this B atom here is having a positive charge, right? So the resonance here will be like this, it will be like this, such that now I can write here A single bond, B here single bond, C having a negative charge, and this charge means positive on this B atom will be dispersed, and now this A will be having that positive charge, such that it is what? Even this thing is a 1,3 dipole, as well as the first structure, that is this one here, it is also a type of a 1,3 dipole actually. Okay, and now whenever some dipolarophile is present here, I mean this thing, let us say X double bond Y, this is a dipolarophile, the alkene molecule. Now how the cycloaddition will take place? Believe me, it is not some ionic type of mechanism. It is purely a concerted type of mechanism, means there will not be present any negative and the positive charges, although we are representing here. The bond formations will completely be simultaneous with that of the bond breaking. They will both be taking at the same time, right? So what is going to happen is that as soon as this starts to form a bond with this atom of the dipolarophile, this bond will begin to break, and this new bond between X and A will be begin to form like this, as well as at the same time this bond here will begin to break like this, resulting in the formation of some sort of transition state here, right? And finally what we will get is this will now become a single bond here, XY. this will become a new bond between X and A. This will become a single bond between A and B. As such, a single bond between B and C, and this will now become a new bond, resulting in the formation of this type of cyclic structure. And this is what is meant by the 1,3 dipolar cycloaddition between this 1,3 dipole and this kind of dipolarophile here. Okay, so all these reactions which I have listed here in this video, all these reactions are quite similar to this 1,3 dipolar cycloaddition, and this is what it will be acting as my 1,3 dipole, and the alkene is what? It is my dipolarophile. So let me write here dipolarophile. Okay, but now one thing I want to add here is that you can see here that this kind of dipolarophile is a symmetrical type of dipolarophile, and it won't be creating any problem in the regioselectivity. Okay, we can go for the interaction of this C negative either with the X atom or with the Y atom, because it is a symmetrical type of dipolarophile, no problem at all. Okay, but in this case here, you can see that this dipolarophile or the alkene molecule is an unsymmetrical type of molecule. So there are present issues of regioselectivity. Regioselectivity means what? Let me write here the word regioselectivity. Regioselectivity. Regioselectivity means what? It is the selectivity. It is the selectivity which is region based. Regio is coming from what word? It is coming from the region or the area, right? So now, because here two unsymmetrical carbon atoms are present, this is the first one and this is the second one. So there is a problem here on which carbon atom the interaction of the negative end of the 1,3 dipole will be going to take place, right? Are you understanding? Okay, so this is the problem here. It is some problem related to the regioselectivity. So we can say that such problems can be answered on the, or these are based upon various factors. The first one is what? It is the electronic factor. It is the electronic factors, and the second is what? These are the steric type of factors, and it is the combined result of these two factors that will eventually decide on which carbon atom or on which end of the dipolarophile alkene molecule, if unsymmetrical, the interaction of the negative end of the 1,3 dipole will be going to take place, right? Whether it will be on this side or it will be on this side if this is some unsymmetrical type of alkene molecule. But if it is symmetrical, then there is no problem at all. We can go for the interaction on any of the atom here. Okay, so in this case here, first of all, let me represent this mesoionic molecule into an equivalent type of structure, and I will be fast now at this because I have discussed it so many times. So it will be like R1 single bond oxygen here, the nitrogen R2 single bond, R3 here single bond, double bond oxygen. This will now be having a negative charge, and this will be having a double bond and a positive charge here like this. Okay, and now this is my 1,3 dipole. I mean, it is just similar to this type of structure here, this type of structure, and this is what? It is my dipolarophile. I mean this thing here, right? So let me quickly write or draw the structure of my dipolarophile. It will be what? It will be phenyl single bond C H here, double bond CH2, right? So now, because of the steric factors here, the interaction of this carbon atom having the negative charge of the 1,3 dipole, it will be interacting more easily with this carbon atom of the dipolarophile, which is unsymmetrical here, as you can see. Okay, and the interaction of this negative end of the 1,3 dipole with this carbon atom here won't be easy because of the presence of a large group here. It is this phenyl group. Okay, so based upon the steric factors, this is a large group here. Based upon the steric factors, what we can do is we can do the interaction of this negative charge with this terminal carbon atom. It will be resulting in the formation of a bond with this carbon atom here. As soon as it will start, this bond here, I mean between CH and CH2, it will begin to break like this, and then this bond will be there in the formation phase with this carbon atom, and finally even this bond here will start to break, resulting in the formation of a transition state. Okay, and how that transition state will look like, it will be like this. And finally I can now write here the phenyl single bond CH here. This will now become a single bond, and a CH2 here, single bond, this carbon atom having R1, and then is this oxygen atom, single bond, double bond, oxygen atom, and then this carbon atom having what, the R3 substituent, and this is now bonded to this CH2. Okay, and this is also having what, this is also having this nitrogen atom linked here, and this is having what, this is having the R2 group, right? So we will arrive at this type of cyclic adduct, we can say. So let me write here the cyclic adduct, which is actually the result of a cycloaddition type of reaction between this 1,3 dipole and this type of unsymmetrical dipole aerofoil. Okay, so now finally what will happen here is this reaction won't stop here at this stage, and there is also present a next step here in this reaction. That is what, that is the removal of a molecule of carbon dioxide, and this is the driving force here. Okay, because it will be increasing the entropy of the system. A gaseous molecule is going out of the system, so this reaction is actually proceeding towards a more thermodynamically stable product. And how that will happen is, these two electrons here, I mean these two electrons of this carbon and the oxygen bond, because this carbon and the oxygen bond is formed by the sharing of two electrons. These two electrons, they will shift here in between this carbon and oxygen single bond, and as soon as this will happen, what will happen next, these two electrons of the carbon and the carbon double bond oxygen, these will shift here on this carbon atom. Okay, so now what will happen is eventually the phenyl here, single bond CH, single bond CH2 here, and this carbon atom having R1, the nitrogen having the R2 group as it is. Okay, so this is having what, this is having the R3 group here, and this is bonded to this nitrogen atom like this. Okay, and now because this carbon dioxide means oxygen double bond carbon double bond oxygen is going out of the system, and these electrons are going from here to here, so what will happen is there will come definitely a positive charge on this carbon atom, and of course because these two electrons are moving on to this carbon atom, so a negative charge will definitely come here like this. Okay, and finally I can write here one more arrow here. So this will be what, if I want to draw it in a simpler form, I'll do what I will do, CH2 here, single bond CH having the phenyl group, and this is bonded to some carbon atom which is having R3, single bond nitrogen having what, R2 here, then this is bonded to some carbon atom having this R1, moreover a positive charge over here, I mean a positive charge here on this position and a negative charge here like this. Okay, so now what is going to happen is a sort of tautomerism will take place, resulting in the formation of this final product molecule. Okay, so how basically this tautomerism is taking place, we can say that this H positive ions means from this position. From this position, I mean the H positive is going from this carbon atom to this carbon atom. Okay, so what will happen is when the H positive will go from this carbon atom, I mean this is the scenario here. This is the nitrogen. Here is the R3, here is the R2, R1, and this is the phenyl group. Okay, when H positive ion will go from here to here, what will happen? It will be having now one H here, and definitely a negative charge will be present like this. And on the adjacent carbon atom, a positive charge is already there, and between this positive and negative charges will result in the formation of a bond, and this will be this double bond, I mean this one here. Okay, so this is having one phenyl, you can see here, and this is what it is, my R1 here, I mean this, which you can see is present here. This is the nitrogen having what, R2, you can see here R2, and on this side this is what, this is my R3, I mean this, or you can see here in the final product molecule it is present here. So basically this is nothing, this is actually a sort of tautomerism. Okay, so in this way we can represent this reaction here, that is this 1,3 dipole of this mesoionic molecule, it is undergoing a 1,3 dipolar type of cycloaddition reaction, resulting in the formation of a transition state like this, finally giving out a molecule of carbon dioxide, resulting in the generation of this type of structure, which is undergoing tautomerism, finally giving us a molecule of this 2-pyrroline molecule. Okay, so it may look like a bit of difficult reaction to you people, but it is not. Okay, believe me, it is not. It is just a strategy. If you people are well aware of this strategy, it will be very easy for you to carry out such kind of reactions with a variety of dipole aerophiles, and it is one of the dipole aerophile molecule, right? So we will be using the same technique, the same strategy for other kind of alkene molecules. Right now we have discussed the very first reaction with the styrene molecule, I mean this thing. So let me write here, this was the very first reaction and we are done with this. Okay, so the second is what, it is with some unsymmetrical alkene molecule as the dipole aerophile, of course, having a good leaving group, which you can see it is the chloro here. Okay, so now let us talk about the details of this second reaction. Okay, here I am simply drawing the equivalent structure for this mesoionic molecule, and I will be quick on this. R1 single bond oxygen here, single bond nitrogen having the R2 group, thus this carbon atom having R3 here, a single bond, then this bond, this will now become a double bond oxygen. This will now be having a negative charge, a double bond here and a positive charge here like this. And this is what, this is my 1,3 dipole. It is an equivalent structure as of this. Okay, and now let me add here my dipole aerophile molecule, which is this, you can see here, and it is unsymmetrical having a good leaving group. Okay, so it will be what, it will be a Cl here, single bond CH, double bond CH, and the nitro group here NO2. Okay, and now because it is an unsymmetrical type of dipole aerophile, and we just said that the interaction of the negative end, I mean this negative end of the 1,3 dipole, it will be going toward that carbon atom of the dipole aerophile out of this and this, which is favored by the steric as well as the electronic type of factors. Okay, so in the last reaction the regioselectivity was based upon the steric factors, but in this case it is based upon the electronic factors. And as you people are already aware of the fact that out of chloro, that is this one here, and the nitro, that is this substituent here, because the nitro is more electron withdrawing group. So this carbon atom here is what it is, having a lot of partial positive charge, and it is highly electron deficient, okay, because the nitro group is electron withdrawing. It is electron withdrawing, it is showing an electron withdrawing type of resonance effect as well as the electron withdrawing type of inductive effect, and is a stronger electron withdrawing group. So the adjacent carbon atom is having a lot of partial positive charge and it is electron deficient, okay. And definitely the negative end, I mean this end of the 1,3 dipole of our mesoionic compound, it will be interacting with this carbon atom and not with the other carbon atom, okay. So now what I can do is I can start drawing my transition state. It will be like this, the formation of bond. This bond will begin to break. This bond will now begin to form with this carbon atom having the R1 group, and this will also begin to break, and this is the transition state, right? So after that, after this transition state, I can draw here the Cl single bond CH single bond CH here. This will be nitro NO2 like this. This will be a single bond with this carbon atom having R1 like this. Oxygen here, single bond, double bond oxygen. The second carbon atom here having the R3, a bond formation with this, and the nitrogen can be represented in this fashion having what it is, having the R2 group, okay. In the same way, a molecule of CO2 will be eliminated from here like this and then this, okay. So what I will get is a Cl here, single bond CH here having the nitro group, a single bond here, what is present, the R1, the nitrogen here having the R2 substituent, and this is bonded to this carbon atom which is having what, the R3, right? And here we need to show a positive sign and here the negative sign likewise, okay. And I can always represent an equivalent structure from this structure, and that will be what, that will be a nitro here, single bond CH, single bond CH having the Cl here. It is bonded to this carbon atom having R1 with a positive charge, single bond nitrogen having the R2 group, then this carbon atom having R3 bonded to this carbon atom and also having a negative charge, right? Now after that, what will happen is the removal of a molecule of HCl will take place, and that can be shown in this way, okay. So better to show this hydrogen like this. So this bond will shift here and the Cl will go out from here because it is a good leaving group, right? So that I can now write here minus HCl, and here the nitro single bond, this will now become a double bond here, a single bond having the R3 group, the nitrogen having the R2, then single bond here, what is present, the R1, and the negative sign here and a positive charge here like this, okay. So what will happen next is the rearrangement will take place like this, mean these two electrons will come here in between this and this bond, and these two electrons of the pi bond here will come like this, resulting in the formation of nitro single bond. This will now become a double bond here, this will now become a single bond, a double bond here, the nitrogen R2 here, R1 like this, as well as R3 on this side, okay. And you can see here this and this structure are exactly same, and in this way we can show the formation of a molecule of pyrrole. This is a pyrrole molecule, yes it is, okay. So you can see here the nitro here, the R3 here, the Nr2 here, then the R1 here, okay. So this is my pyrrole molecule, and I can show the synthesis by a very simple concerted 1,3 dipolar type of cycloaddition in between this 1,3 dipole and this type of unsymmetrical dipolarophile molecule having a good leaving group, right? So this is all about this second reaction. I mean this one here. Okay, so let me write here the second reaction, in which we just have discussed the synthesis of this type of pyrrole molecule, starting from some unsymmetrical dipolarophile having a good leaving group. Okay, and now we are left with only the third chemical reaction, which is with what, some symmetrical type of alkene molecule. Okay, so once again I can represent this in the form of a 1,3 dipole. R1 here, single bond, oxygen, N on this side instead of some R group. Now we are having what, a hydrogen atom. This is the only difference. Okay, and then the R3 here, single bond. This will now become a double bond, oxygen, a negative charge here, double bond, positive charge here on this side. Okay, and I can show my dipolarophile, which is present here in this way, mean the electron withdrawing group, the carbon, the hydrogen, double bond here, carbon, electron withdrawing group, some means COOCH3, you can see here the hydrogen, right? And now because it is a symmetrical type of alkene molecule, so there are no issues of regioselectivity, and we can show the interaction of the negative end of the 1,3 dipole with any of the carbon atoms of this symmetrical 1,3 dipole molecule. Okay, so let me show it like this. Means it is resulting in the formation of a bond with this carbon atom in the form of a transition state. This bond will be going to break simultaneously at the same time, and a new bond formation will take place here like this, because we know that it is a concerted type of mechanism, and at the same time this bond will also be undergoing breaking like this, such that now what will happen is it will be C carbon, E here, H here. This will now become a single bond, carbon, E, H, single bond with this carbon atom having what, the R1 group here, oxygen, single bond, double bond, oxygen here, this bond with this carbon atom having the R3, once again a bond here, and this is having what, the nitrogen on which a hydrogen is present, a single bond. Okay, so after that the removal of a molecule of CO2 in the same way, minus CO2 I can write here, and this will become what, E, single bond, carbon having H here, carbon, E, H here like this, single bond. This is having R1 with a positive charge, single bond, NH here, single bond, carbon having R3 and a negative sign here, and this is bond like this. Okay, so after that tautomerism, a sort of tautomerism will take place here like this, in which one H positive will shift from here to here, right? So how it is happening? First of all, these lone pairs are going like this, and these H positive ions are going on to this negative charge, resulting in the formation of a double bond here, which you can see it is present here, and on this carbon atom having R3, one H will now be present. Okay, and it is this carbon atom having a R3 and one hydrogen atom here. Okay, so what we have got is, this is a molecule of 1-pyrroline. Okay, so this means the reaction of the 1,3 5 olate with an alkene molecule and a symmetrical type of alkene having electron withdrawing groups, it always results in the generation of a 1-pyrroline molecule, and this is the mechanism, the concerted type, the 1,3 dipolar cycloaddition. This is the 1,3 dipole, this is the dipolarophile. Okay, so this is all about the synthesis part as well as the chemical reactions, especially with the alkene molecules of what, the second type A mesoionic molecule. The name was what, it is the 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate molecule. Okay, so in the next lecture, in the near future, I will be discussing more chemistry and the more of the chemical properties of the same molecule, but with some other type of reactants such as carbonyls, alkynes, and something else also. Okay, so this much is sufficient for this video lecture. Thank you so much.